The Flash. I've loved this season. It's been so upbeat and fun and positive. Just makes me feel good inside. It's everything that I want out of a superhero TV show. Every episode just leaves me feeling upbeat and positive. Man, I cannot wait to see the season finale. Who am I talking to? Anyway, on with the show. My emotions! My emotions! Hi there folks, and welcome to another Professor Thorgi review. I'm Aaron, your guide to all things geeky, and today we're doing our first ever TV show. I'm going to be reviewing the season finale of Flash. But before we begin, normally I save this for the end of the review, but I've set a goal for myself to hit 1,000 subscribers by the end of July. So, if you like this video, then feel free to hit that subscribe button down below. It would actually help me out a lot. We're doing okay. We are currently on track to hit that goal of 1,000 viewers, but I would rather not hit that goal right on July Eve. So if you guys want to help me out, I would appreciate it a lot. Thanks everybody. And now, let's get into the review of Flash. Now normally I would do a spoiler-free review and I would do a spoiler-filled discussion in a separate video, but since this is the season finale of a TV show, that means that in order for me to avoid all spoilers, it would be assuming that you haven't seen any of the TV show leading up to it, which would kind of make it hard for me to talk about. So, yeah, sorry everybody. If you have not seen the season finale yet, then please tune out now after hitting the subscribe button. But okay, I have loved The Flash so far this season. It has been fantastic because, kind of like the Marvel films, The Flash goes, okay, we are a comic book adaptation. What do people love about the comics? Don't try and dull this down. Let's play to our strengths. Let's go what makes the comic book special, and let's just go right into that. The moment that they said Speed Force this season, I lost my mind. And the fact that they actually had Gorilla Grodd in here, whoever thought that was going to actually be a thing? Didn't you expect like a gritty, realistic take on Gorilla Grodd, where it was just some guy who studied gorillas and was kind of hairy because a TV executive would have come in at the last minute and gone, nah, nobody wants to see a talking gorilla. That's dumb. They had an actual talking gorilla in here, and he was horrifying, and he looked good. That was actual like movie level special effects. I can't believe they pulled that off. This whole show has been amazing with its special effects. I mean, going into this, I had always said that I am nervous about speedsters in live action adaptations because in live action, super speed is one of those things that is really hard to get, and this show captures it so well. We are now living in that age in which you can do stuff like that, and it blows my mind. So leading into this big finale, I had a lot going into this. I had a lot of momentum coming in, and it didn't disappoint. I loved this season finale. It was fantastic. Going into this episode, it starts with Grant Gustin, who is kind of still being all dark and edgy from the previous couple of episodes, which, I don't really like my Flash like that, but I realized it was only for a few episodes. I realized that it was him kind of hitting the wall. So, okay, I was fine with it. But I do prefer Grant Gustin being more, just kind of like upbeat and goofy, which, that's another thing I gotta say about this show. Wally was always my Flash. I always loved the joking speedster. I always loved the guy with the grin and the one-liner. So I've always kind of been opposed to the idea of bringing Barry back. I've always been kind of like, man, Barry, he had his time. Even Jeff Johns in the comics was not able to make me go, yeah, Barry, that's the guy we're all about. Every time I read Barry in the comics, I was just like, just give us Wally back. So we went into this, and I saw how they treated Barry. I was like, I finally get why people like Barry Allen. I finally get the appeal of Barry Allen. He's a goofy nerd with super speed. He's fantastic for this character. So yeah, way to go, Flash TV show. Okay, as I was saying, Barry goes in and confronts the Reverse Flash, and I have been loving how Tom Cavanaugh plays that character. When he was playing him as Harrison Wells as a good guy, I was always like, dude, you're evil. We all know you're evil. So after that point, when he finally came out, I was like, yeah, of course I'm evil. I loved him as that character. I think he has been a fantastic bad guy. And he's doing a great job in this, too. In this episode, when he comes in and he's just joking around with Barry, in which he's like, yeah, the time I come from cows are extinct, so you can go out and get a cheeseburger whenever you want. Anyway, I'm boring you. You don't care about this. You have questions. Come on. It's like, he killed this guy's mother, and he's still just like, yeah, no, okay, we're just gonna joke around. I love villains like that. And as I watched this episode, I won't lie, the whole time I was kind of like, when are you going to finally go into the past? When are you going to finally go into the past? And they didn't do that until like towards the very end, but I love the build up to it. I love that every single one of these characters that we got had their moments. I love that we got that marriage. I love that we got Eddie being told, nah man, go and live your life. You get to do whatever you want. You're amazing. Because Eddie has just been getting beaten down throughout this whole season. So I love that there towards the end, he finally got that little speech of, nah man, go and live your life. You can do whatever you want. Which we'll talk more about that in a moment. And then of course there was my favorite part about the build up to this whole moment, were the talks between Joe and Barry. Anytime this season in which Joe and Barry had a father and son style discussion, I was like, dude, that is your dad. It's like, no offense to your dad who's in prison, but Joe is such a great character because anytime he talks to Barry, it's like, wow man, this is a character who stepped up and was a flat out A #1 dad. I love characters like that. But okay, from there, Barry actually does it. He goes back in time, and I love that as he is going back in time, he sees the past, but also the future. And this is important for a couple of reasons. One thing we get is we get the Flash Museum. Now, I don't think we have to look forward to that one. I always love the Flash Museum in the comics, but something tells me they're keeping that one in their back pocket for the day when the show is done, when they're on their very last episode. I have a feeling that's going to be the final shot we get of the TV series, is that the whole town comes together and goes, yes, and in appreciation of the Flash, we open this Flash Museum. Something tells me that's going to be the very end of the show, so we don't have that to look forward to for a while. But something that we do have coming up is Killer Frost. We have known from day one that Killer Frost is one of the assistants working with the Flash. That Killer Frost and Vi are the two characters who are working in that lab with him. And we finally got a sense of Cisco being Vi, which, by the way, I cannot wait to see Cisco as Vi. Alright, I know you're gonna try and make him look cool, but at least throw in one jokey scene of him trying on different outfits, and he puts on the hammer pants. Just one scene, that's all I'm asking. Then you can put him in the sleek new vest that they've made for Vi. But just one scene with the hammer pants, that's all I want. But as I was saying, we did actually finally get to see Caitlin as Killer Frost, and it's okay. I have a bit of a problem with it, is that, you know, they did make her dress kind of revealing, and that's kind of a cliche for whenever a nice, upstanding, smart character turns evil, that they instantly start dressing more revealing. You know, I've seen that on Buffy, I've seen that on tons of other shows, so I would have preferred if they had gone more with, like, the comic book look, but at the same time, it did really make me want to see what they're going to do with her next season. That's going to be pretty cool when that happens. God damn, did I just make a pun? I seriously did not mean to do that. I think I've been watching too much Captain Cold episodes. But then he actually does it. He goes back in time, he finds his mom, and then when he finds his mom, he sees his future alternate reality self there, and that version of him looks at him and goes, no. And then he doesn't save his mom. And it's a very emotional moment. It is. It really is. When he sits there and he has to listen to it happen, and then he goes in there and he tells his mom that he's okay and that he and dad are going to be all right. That is such a moving moment. It almost brought a tear to my eye. Okay, screw it. I cried a lot at that moment. I cry at the drop of a hat, and that dropped a lot of hats. But after I was done crying, I had to think about it for a moment, and I don't know how I feel about this, because I'm sorry, someone explain this to me. Why didn't he save his mom? I do not get why he did not save his mom, and a lot of people are going to say, well, it's because his future self told him not to. But that future self, we were told earlier in the episode, that future self is not from the same timeline. That future self is from a timeline where his mom wasn't killed, and that Thawne came back in time to try and kill him as a kid, but then he was unable to, so then he killed his mom to try and put him on a different timeline, and that's the timeline that this Barry is from. I need charts for this. But you get what I'm saying. The future Barry that told him not to was from a timeline where his mom didn't die, meaning he didn't know his mom was going to die. He might have just been telling him, no man, don't come in right now because we can't have two of us in here or else our cells will fuse and explode. I've got to get further away. Something like that. He could have then come in right afterwards. Like, My head is exploding. God damn you, time travel. Okay, I'm clearly just not going to understand that for now, so let's just keep on moving on with the story. And then it cuts back to the present. Thawne is being a smug SOB like he always is, and then we get that Easter egg. We get that Easter egg of Jay Garrick's hat coming in, and that is a squeal-worthy moment. But then Thawne, he gets ready to go back in the time machine, and then Barry comes in and just knocks him out, and it is awesome. That is an amazing entrance on Barry's part. That is a flat-out comic book panel come to life. Way to go, Flash team. And then it goes into that fight scene, and the Reverse Flash is terrifying in that. Like, that's one of the things I love, is that they really let you know in this season how super speed in the hands of a supervillain is a dangerous thing. And I love that moment when she's like, as soon as I'm done with you, I'm taking them all out, because that's what's so scary about the Reverse Flash. He can do it like that. And then it happens. We hear the gunshot, and yeah, as soon as you hear the gunshot, everybody's first thought is, oh, somebody just shot the Reverse Flash, and he's about to be pissed. And then you turn around, and Eddie took himself out. Oh my gosh, I talked about how I got emotional at the mom thing. I really got emotional at Eddie's death, because that character, that is probably my favorite character this whole season. And if you had asked me halfway through the season if I thought that character was going to be my favorite, I would have said no, and that's what makes him my favorite. Because that character went on such a roller coaster. He was all over the place this season. He starts off as like, all right, he's a hard-boiled detective, but he hates the Flash. And then him and the Flash kind of come together, but he kind of hates Barry because Barry wants to take his girl away. And he really does love Iris. You can tell that. That's what I love. He really does genuinely care for Iris. And then when Thawne kidnaps him and he's torturing him, you're like, oh man, he is clearly going to like turn him into a supervillain. We've all been waiting for this. He's going to be the modern day Reverse Flash. That's what I thought was going to happen. And then in this final episode, you know, when he starts to decide, I'm going to control my own fate, it really was like, all right, good for you, Eddie. You had a full character arc. And they gave him a full character arc just to take it away that last second. That hurt, man. That really lets you know that that character developed. Because he went from kind of an asshole to being, wow, he might be the biggest hero on this whole show. That was incredible what he did there at that last moment. I'm actually like complimenting the heroics of a fictional character. That is how good that scene was. And I even thought of this as a possibility, but I'm not going to come in here and say like, oh, I call this was going to happen. No, like early on, the moment that you find out that the Reverse Flash is an ancestor of his, my first thought for a split second was, oh, so maybe they'll just kill off Eddie, so that way it takes care of this whole thing. And then that thought was gone, and for the rest of the season I was like, no, that's not gonna happen. So when it happened here, that was a second impact I felt. Not just the emotional impact of, oh my gosh, Eddie, he sacrificed himself, but also that impact of, oh my god, they did the thing! And then it all ends with this look of like the universe is going to be destroyed and the Flash goes right up there. And it's this idea that, you know, the Flash is going to have to circle around this thing just like the tornado. And all it made me think of was Crisis on Infinite Earth, where the Flash, he ran around to try and contain this thing, and he just dissolved away into the Speed Force. And then it ends. Which, if I only have one complaint with this season finale, it's, you can't end it there, man! That is a cliffhanger for 1 week of, you know, okay, I'll tune into the next episode. I'm not waiting 5 months for that. I live in the Netflix age, man. I get satisfaction like that. I can't wait this long to find out what happens there. But I can speculate on what's going to happen. I don't think that Jay Garrick helmet was just a little like Easter egg to all the fans. I honestly think they're setting up the whole idea of alternate realities. And I think Flash is going to spin around, contain this, and the first episode, Season 2, is going to be him on Earth 2 with Jay Garrick. I mean, think about it. Like I said, the guys who run the Flash, they love comic books. They love all this crazy stuff. No way are they not going to fit in other Flashes from alternate realities in here at some point. And I can't wait to see their take on Jay Garrick. But also, speaking of alternate realities, there's another thing I want to bring up. There's something I didn't mention about the things that Barry saw when he was traveling through time. That is that he saw himself, and he was on the phone in prison, and I thought, okay, this is him talking to his dad. But then when it zooms in, it shows that Barry is the one in jail. And this is just pure speculation on my part, but do you know what I would love to see them do? What I would love to see them do? The guy who plays Barry's dad on this show played the Flash back in the 1990s TV show of The Flash. I would absolutely love it if in Season 2, there was an episode involving these alternate realities, which I do think they're going to do in the second season, in which Barry tries to correct something and ends up creating an alternate dimension in which he's the one that went to jail for his mom's murder instead of his dad, so he's there in jail, and that his dad is the one who became the Flash. And then we get to get that actor back as the Flash for one more episode. I think that would be such a great tribute to the fans, and could all end with him realizing that his dimension is wrong, and that his son is supposed to be the Flash, that he goes for one last run to set everything back right. I'm getting tingles just thinking about this, because I loved that Flash show when I was a kid, so seeing that actor suit up one more time, I would love it. I would absolutely love it. Oh my god, make him Jay Garrick. But, as always, I want to hear from you guys. What did you think of this season finale, and the whole season in general? Also, I got one more question for you guys. What do you think they're going to do in season 2? Leave that in the comments down below. Also, if you like this video, then hit that thumb up, share it across the web. I always feel good whenever I see anybody sharing this out there on the net. But also, as I said, I'm trying to hit that 1,000 subscriber mark by the end of June. So if you like this, then help a brother out and hit that subscribe button. Alright, thank you all so much, and come back next time.